Most people work 40 years and retire broke. 64% of Americans retire with under $10,000. Not because they earn too little, because of habits. The average American spends more on cars than investments. Colt standing at the base of a giant coin tower, looking up at the summit labeled Financial Freedom, the tower built from small steps he's already climbed. 7 decisions. That's all it takes to change everything. Compound interest is legal wealth multiplication. Use it. $200 a month at 22. $1 million at 67. Wait 10 years to start. Lose $300,000. Time is your only non-renewable asset. Invest it wisely. The S&P 500 has averaged 10% annually over decades. Index funds beat most active fund managers every year. VU, VTI, SCHD, 3 tickers worth knowing cold. Your car is not an asset. It depreciates every single day. A $500 car payment costs you far more. Stealth wealth, rich on paper, invisible in public. A Roth IRA grows completely tax-free. That's the game. Health is your highest return investment in your 20s. Skills compound just like money. Learn early, earn later. House hacking can make your home pay for itself. Real estate builds wealth 3 ways simultaneously every year. Automating savings removes the decision. The decision is the risk. Credit card rewards are free money if you pay in full. The side hustle is a second engine on your financial plane. Colt planting a small dollar bill seed in rich soil, a massive oak tree growing in the background made of stacked golden coins. Low expenses beat high income every single time. Always. A 10-year-old Toyota with no payment beats a new BMW. Invest first, spend the rest, not the other way around. Your 20s are worth more than your 40s financially. Colt running on a hamster wheel of debt, then stepping off and walking forward on a clear, open road. $1,000 invested monthly changes your entire trajectory. Lifestyle inflation is the invisible tax on your raises. Every dollar you don't save is a future dollar you lose. High earners go broke. Low spenders build empires quietly. Diversification is not just strategy, it's financial survival. The IRS gives you a Roth IRA. Use every dollar of it. Small habits executed daily create irreversible momentum. Online courses cost less than 1 textbook. Knowledge scales. Wealth is built in private, shown in freedom, not things. Colt walking a long open road with milestones in dollar amounts stretching toward a bright horizon. If you're under 30, you have an unfair advantage. The best financial tool available to you costs nothing. Time. Markets recover. History proves it. Stay the course, always. Debt is the opposite of compound interest. Eliminate it fast. This is the system. Let's build it from zero today. Step 1 is the emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses, liquid and accessible. According to the Federal Reserve, 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency. Don't be that statistic. Park $1,000 somewhere safe first. A high-yield savings account pays 4 to 5% today. Use it. Once the emergency fund is full, redirect every dollar toward investing. Step 2. Open a Roth IRA if your income qualifies under the IRS limit. The 2025 Roth IRA limit is $7,000 per year if you're under 50. Maxing a Roth IRA from age 22 to 67 could yield over $1 million tax-free. Fidelity and Vanguard both offer zero-fee index funds inside a Roth IRA. Use them. Colt standing at a crossroads, one path leads upward, labeled Roth IRA. The other slopes downward, labeled taxable account. VOO tracks the S&P 500. One fund, 500 companies, instant diversification. VTI includes small and mid-cap stocks, broader exposure, similar long-term returns to VOO. SCHD focuses on dividend growth stocks, a cash flow layer added to your portfolio. A 3-fund portfolio covers U.S. stocks, international stocks, and bonds for full balance. Vanguard's own research shows most active funds underperform index funds over 15 years. Expense ratios matter enormously. Even 0.5% costs thousands over decades. VO has an expense ratio of just 0.03%, nearly free to own. Dollar cost averaging removes the stress of timing the market completely. Invest the same amount every month regardless of market conditions. This is the system. When markets fall, you're buying more shares at a discount. Stay invested. Panic selling is the single most expensive mistake retail investors make repeatedly. Morningstar data: investors who hold through downturns significantly outperform those who sell. Automate everything. Monthly transfer on payday directly to your investment account. Set it and forget it is not lazy investing. It's optimal investing backed by data. Now let's talk about the car trap. The average new car costs $36,000. At 7% interest over 5 years, that becomes $50,000 total paid. That $50,000 invested in VU instead would worth over $100,000 by year 10. Buy a 3 to 5-year-old reliable used car. Cash, if possible. Drive it 10 years. Redirect the money you would have spent on car payments into a Roth IRA monthly. The car payment redirect strategy alone can add $200,000 to your retirement. Now the side hustle. It's not about passion. It's about a second income stream. BLS data shows households with 2 income sources have significantly higher net worth on average. Side hustle income invested directly, not spent, accelerates your timeline by years. Freelancing, consulting, digital products, rentals, the side hustle model is flexible and scalable. Colt at the top of a mountain made of compound interest charts, calm and unbothered, surveying a vast open landscape below. Real estate step: understand house hacking before you sign any mortgage. House hacking: live in one unit, rent the other to offset your mortgage completely. Rental income covers the mortgage. You build equity while someone else pays your housing. Real estate appreciation in most U.S. markets has averaged 4 to 5% annually over decades. Colt, watching a small seed dollar transform into a solid brick house while coins pile at its base. You don't need 20% down. FHA loans allow 3.5% down for first-time buyers. Your credit score directly determines your mortgage rate. 1 point can cost tens of thousands. Pay your bills on time, every time. It's the single most impactful credit action you have. Keep credit utilization under 30% at all times to protect your score. Education is the most compounding investment in your personal balance sheet. Treat it that way. Investing $100 in the right course can return $10,000 in salary. Certified skills in high-demand fields, coding, data, finance, have massive, measurable income returns. Knowledge compounds like interest. What you learn at 22 pays dividends at 45. Health maintenance in your 20s is radically cheaper than health repair in your 50s. SSA data shows that chronic illness is a leading cause of early retirement and income loss. Sleep, movement, and real food are free interventions with enormous financial downstream effects. Strategic travel builds networks, perspectives, and opportunities that compound across your entire career. Use travel credit card points strategically. Pay zero for flights, invest the cash difference. Network effects from intelligent travel can accelerate career income by years. Track the ROI. Now, the stealth wealth mindset. It's a complete inversion of consumer culture defaults. Consumer culture says, earn more, spend more. Wealth culture says, earn more, invest more. Quiet millionaires drive used cars, cook at home, and rarely discuss their net worth publicly. Federal Reserve SCF data: median net worth of millionaires often surprises people by their modest lifestyle. Every subscription you cancel is a monthly investment contribution you just found. The average American spends over $300 monthly on subscriptions they barely use. Redirect those $300 into VTI every month. Over 20 years, that's a fortune. Negotiate your rent. Negotiate your salary. Negotiate your insurance. Most people just don't ask. A 10% salary raise invested entirely in index funds can change your retirement date by years. Your employer's 401k match is a guaranteed 100% return on your contribution. Never skip it. Colt breaking out of a glass box labeled $0 savings, stepping confidently onto a wide-open financial landscape. Let's run the real math on everything we've discussed. Starting at 0, age 22, with $200 per month. At 10% average annual returns, the S&P 500 historical average 200 monthly becomes over $1 million by age 67. Start at 32 instead, same 200 per month, and you retire with under $300,000. The gap is brutal. That $300,000 gap is the cost of 1 decade of delay. Time is not recoverable. Now add the car payment redirect, $500 per month into VOO from age 25 to 65. That $500 per month at 10% over 40 years grows to over $2.5 million. Add the Roth IRA maxed yearly from age 22. At 67, that's over $1 million tax-free on top. Add a house-hacked property with 4% appreciation. Your equity alone can exceed $600,000. Combined, over $4 million in total wealth from decisions that cost you almost nothing in lifestyle sacrifice. The math is not complicated. The discipline is. That's where most people fail, not on knowledge. Over 60% of six-figure earners still live paycheck to paycheck according to CNBC and Federal Reserve data. The problem isn't income, it's behavior. Lifestyle inflation is the #1 wealth killer in America. Every raise should go mostly to investments, not spending upgrades. Peter Thiel grew his Roth IRA to over $5 billion through private company shares legally and tax-free. You don't need $5 billion. You need the same principle applied at your scale, consistently, for decades. Rebalancing your portfolio once a year keeps your risk allocation aligned with your goals and timeline. As you approach retirement, shift more toward bonds and dividend ETFs like SCHD to reduce volatility exposure. Morningstar's glide path research confirms gradual de-risking improves long-term retirement outcomes significantly for most investors. Tax loss harvesting inside a taxable brokerage account can save hundreds to thousands annually, depending on your portfolio size. If you're self-employed, a SEP IRA or solo 401k allows up to $69,000 in annual tax advantage contributions for 2025. Colt, standing at the center of a glowing financial web ETFs, real estate, income streams, health, education, all connected by golden threads radiating outward. The wealth system isn't 7 separate things. It's one integrated machine where each part powers the others continuously. Health funds your productivity. Productivity funds your income. Income funds your investments. Investments fund your freedom. The person driving a 10-year-old reliable car with a fully maxed Roth IRA is infinitely wealthier than the BMW leaser with zero savings. $1,000 per month invested at 10% average annual returns becomes over $200,000 in just 10 years. Continue that same $1,000 per month for 30 years, and you are looking at over $2 million in that account alone. If your employer matches up to 4% of your salary in a 401k, that is effectively a 50 to 100% return on day one. Maximize it without exception. Cancel subscriptions you don't use. Cook at home 4 nights a week. These aren't sacrifices, they are strategic reallocations of capital to your future. The BLS Consumer Expenditure Survey shows the average American family spends over $3,000 annually on dining out. That redirected to VOO is transformative over 20 years. Side hustle income rule. Invest the first dollar of every side income check before spending any of it, every single time, without exception. Colt standing on a long bridge over a river of time, looking back at where he started at $0, forward to a glowing city of financial freedom on the other side. The rule of 72. Divide 72 by your expected return rate to find how many years it takes to double your money. At 10% returns, your money doubles every 7.2 years. That means money invested at 22 doubles 5 times by 67. $10,000 invested at 22 becomes $320,000 by 67 without adding a single additional dollar after that initial investment. This is why every dollar you invest young is worth dramatically more than any dollar you invest at 45. The math is permanent. Vanguard's research also confirms that asset allocation, not stock selection, accounts for over 90% of portfolio performance variance. Choose the right funds first. The simple three-fund portfolio U.S. Total Market, International Total Market Bond Index has outperformed most managed portfolios over any 15-year rolling window in modern history. Social Security is not a retirement plan. The SSA itself projects potential reduced benefits by the mid-2030s if no legislative changes are made. Do not depend on it. Build your own system so that Social Security, if it arrives in full, is a bonus, not a lifeline. That is the only safe position. Real estate, index funds, a side income, max tax advantage accounts, and a stealth wealth lifestyle. This is the complete system. Nothing exotic, nothing speculative. The biggest risk in investing is not volatility. It is inaction. Starting at zero today is infinitely better than starting perfectly next year. You don't need to understand every financial term to start. You need VOO, a Roth IRA, and a recurring transfer set up on payday. That is literally the entire foundation. After the foundation is set, optimize, add international exposure with VXUS, add dividends with SCHD, reduce bond allocation in your 30s, and rebalance once annually. If you inherit money, receive a bonus, or sell an asset, invest 70% immediately into your index fund portfolio before lifestyle spending takes over. The wealthiest people Colt knows don't look wealthy at all. They drive ordinary cars, live in modest homes, and their portfolio statements would shock you completely. Colt quietly closing a portfolio binder at his desk, night outside the window, a single lamp on a cup of coffee, nearby the image of stealth wealth lived daily. Wealth is not a number. It is the gap between what your assets produce and what your lifestyle costs. Widen that gap relentlessly every single year. The final system in order: emergency fund first, employer match second, Roth IRA